So, all right, welcome to everyone to our fourth podcast for Rocket Screens. In the series of different podcasts, we'd like to show off the technology known as Rocket Screens. And I've got my team here I want to introduce in a minute. They're going to help me show off some of the capabilities and benefits of this product. But before I do that, let me introduce myself. So my name is Scott Pressler, and I'm the Commander-in-Chief of U.S. Analytics. But we've invented this amazing technology that we are selling to our clients and we're showing off to our prospects, and in an effort ultimately to improve leveraging the technology customers already own and getting information, vital information to help run their business out to the staff, no matter where they're at. And hence, that's what RocketScreens does. So before I go any farther and explain what we're doing and showing off today, let me introduce Kay Batista. Kay, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kay Bautista, and I'm the commander's assistant. And I'm glad that I'm joining another podcast again and learn new things.
Awesome. And then we have our chief engineer, right? Our architect, the guy that's going to get us to space and beyond, or whatever, Mars, Nick Paget. Nick, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, yeah, Nick Paget, the Director of Product Development here at RocketScreens. Really excited to show off what we have today. I think it's pretty cool.
It is cool. So, again, without further ado, what we've been showing off week by week are different connectors to some of the most vital, highly leveraged technologies in the market, and getting information out of some of these systems and allowing you simply really to connect to these products, building playlists that get pushed down by management to your audience, which probably are your staff, no matter where they're at, whether in the office. We're ultimately providing this information on screens, could be televisions, could be pushed down to Microsoft Teams or Slack channel rooms, or even laptops. And we have technology known as streams, getting that information out. Ultimately, we want to make it a very simple process to educate, inform, and improve, quite frankly, the communication and motivate and allow organizations to hit their numbers. So with that, I'll turn this over to Nick. Nick, please show off RocketScreens today, and let's go into our focused Microsoft Power BI presentation.
Great, thank you, Scott. So I just started sharing my screen. Are you guys able to see it?
Yeah.
We are.
So I'm sure most of the audience has heard of Power BI. It's Microsoft's self-service BI reporting tool, kind of their new generation after their old generation offerings, things like SSRS. And Power BI has really taken off in the last few years. Of course, it's a competitor to Tableau and among other tools like that are self-service. But Power BI, one of its, at least in my opinion, greatest features is that it's free for the base tier. And if you get my Office 365, it's included also, so it's kind of free as well in that case. So really, if you're the Microsoft shop, chances are you already own a license and you're already using it. And so it's an extremely popular tool, integrates really well with a lot of the Microsoft tools, just like all of their other software. So it's extremely popular. And we have a dedicated plugin, a few actually options of plugins to get Power BI into RocketScreens. So you can show it on your TVs or embed it into your Microsoft Teams along with other content or really in any other kind of portal that you like. So I'm just looking at the pricing page here. For the Power BI Pro, again, it starts at $10 per user per month, so pretty affordable. But again, it's included in some tiers of Office 365. There are, of course, additional tiers that can be more expensive. And then the desktop version is actually free. So, if you're unfamiliar with it, feel free to come download it, give it a try. It's actually a really powerful tool to help you get reporting off of your data. And you don't lose anything by giving it a shot.
Outstanding. So how does RocketScreens and Power BI play well together?
So there's a few different ways. One is in Power BI, you can embed your reports, your dashboards into other systems. The only downside with that, or really one of the major downside, is that that's then publicly embedded. So you can change it or set it so that people don't have to log in to go look at it. When that happens, anybody could stumble across it. People can take that content or that embedded link and take it somewhere else and then use it. They could share it with people outside of the organization. Really, it just opens up to a whole host of issues. And in some cases, may not be super concerning for your company or your industry, but in some cases, or in other cases rather, it's impossible. There's no way you would be sending things like HIPAA data, right, out in public. There's just no way. There's no regulation, to allow that. So in some cases, it's just not possible. And for those cases, we have a dedicated integration using OAuth, which will leverage a platform called Power BI Embedded. Power BI Embedded is a tool that Microsoft has, or a scope of Power BI, specifically for embedding Power BI securely into other applications. It actually gets pretty technical, but RocketScreens does all that heavy lifting for you behind the scenes, so you don't really need to worry about it. You just kind of select what you want to show, and we'll take care of the rest.
So before you get much farther, we know there's a lot of products, kind of Zapier-like ideas where you can connect to your various systems, or in this case, Power BI, pull the data out, and then maybe replicate the data in a different report or dashboard. We're not doing that, though, correct? We're not going to follow suit with some of these other technologies. We've got a different approach to getting the information that you've already built in these Power BI reports or dashboards, correct?
Right, it's absolutely correct. We don't want to make you rebuild your dashboards or reports in our system. That's a distinctly different tool. Tools like Domo, even Power BI are saying, pull your data in and render your visuals in our platform. There's also other aggregators that are online or cloud focused, like Scythe or Clipfolio, Screenful, Databox, a lot of platforms like that, which we also support. But we don't want to do that. We're more focused on taking what you have now, as far as the visualizations are concerned, and putting those where you want them. So not moving the data around, just moving your visualizations around.
Got it. Wonderful.
So I've got a workspace here in Power BI. Workspace is a container for data sources and for reports and dashboards. I've just filled it up with a bunch of demo data just to get the ball rolling here. And we're going to pull out a report, this AWS cost report. And I'm going to touch a little bit on the first approach that we talked about, the embedded approach, but really we're going to show the secure approach. That's what we're going to focus on mostly. So over in RocketScreens, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Integrations tab. You see I already have one integration from one of our previous demonstrations. I'll click Add Integration here. I'll look for Power BI, which is right here in the center. And then I'll click Sign in with Microsoft. And what Microsoft's doing now is it's basically asking us to approve that RocketScreens is wanting to access this content as this user that I just selected. And we're going to say yes or no. Since, of course, we trust RocketScreens, we're going to say accept. And what that's doing is it's now telling RocketScreens, our system, you can now use Power BI as connected through this user. You see when I go back to my integrations, here's my user set up right here. And so let's go use this integration. So I'll go to Channels. I already have one created, Power BI. And then here I'll just look through my apps for the Power BI apps that we have. So we have a few, right? We have a dashboard and reports, 2 different apps for each. And we also have the embedded URL. I'll click the embedded URL, but we're not really going to use it, just to show what it's like. So if I click the Power BI embed URL, you can see we're just asking for the URL here, which you can generate really easily from any report in Power BI. Again, this is a public-facing URL, and so it may not be appropriate for all of our customers, though in some cases it is appropriate. This is also available on our lower tier, the standard tier. The other integrations I'm about to show, those are on our professional tier. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please. So what you're saying is, again, more of a simplistic way to connect. We know there's a couple of the competitors that out in the market that have got a few connections out there. This is the simplest, less secure way to do it. We can do that also. But again, we want to demonstrate today is we want to go beyond that easy connection to more, extreme secure, more powerful enterprise type connection.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And that does come with an additional wrinkle, but I'll talk about that more once we actually see what's displaying. So I'll click the Power BI report. I want to show a report. I'll leave all the defaults here as the same. I'll select my Power BI integration, which is this one here. I'll then select my workspace. I have a few of them. We'll select the RocketScreens workspace. And then I'll select my report. Actually, I think we have two RocketScreens workspaces. There we go, yeah. And so the AWS cost report that I have in here, it's dumped with some demo data to replicate our AWS costs. So I'll select that.
So this is actually talking to our Microsoft Power BI environment, and it's pulling back the reports that have already been built in that system, and we're pulling those through our RocketScreens integration.
Yep, absolutely right.
Awesome.
This report has multiple pages, so I'll set the page under 15 seconds, so it'll go through them occasionally. We can also show the filters if you have filters to the pages. They're not super important in this case. I know I built them to just clean up the data a little bit more, so I'll leave them as it is. And then finally, we can put on the QR code. I'll leave that as blank for now, just to get the full visual. Now click Create. So just like in the past, this does a little bit of pre-processing, so it may take a second to be fully visible, but we should see it here in a moment. While we're waiting for this to finish, we can talk about that one extra wrinkle, which is, again, how this is working is it's using Power BI embedded. It's a whole functionality that Microsoft provides to show live Power BI reports embedded into intranet portals or the like. With that comes an additional cost from Microsoft. Microsoft says if you want to use Power BI embedded, you have to reserve what they call a capacity for your Power BI workspace. And quite frankly, they can get kind of expensive pretty fast. And so we do our best to avoid these when we can. Another comparison would be Domo. They have something comparable, but we avoid it through our techniques. And Microsoft, there's no way to avoid it currently. So it's kind of just a cost of doing business with doing this secure embedding and secure display of these reports.
And there's a lot of organizations that already have taken on this cost due to their needs to have a very enterprise-worthy reporting technology, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. In this capacity, the capacity from Microsoft, as they refer to it, it's not unique to RocketScreens. Once you add a capacity on here, you can use this embedded report any number of locations. So it's if you're wanting to embed these reports, or you currently are embedding these reports in a number of systems, this should just butt up right against it and work perfectly fine without any changes.
Wow, outstanding.
So I'll go ahead and click Preview. Make it a little bigger here. And so you see where it's loading up the Power BI report now, and it's going to be showing us a live data feed of these of the report that I selected. It may take a second to render. My computer and get a bit slow when doing the meeting and showing the content.
So in some cases, we have Microsoft or other reports that we're taking snapshots of. What you've just said, though, this is actually a live Power BI dashboard. So as long as the data is live, then this would represent live data, correct?
Absolutely correct. Just like you said, in a lot of cases, we do a polling changes. We'll check every few minutes and take a new snapshot of the dashboard or the report. In this case, you're right. It's 100% live data from Microsoft. So when you see it, it's going through these different reports that are going through here. It's actually pulling those straight from Microsoft. Of course, like you said, there are ETL processes that could run nightly, so this data may not be up to the minute based on those processes. But as far as the data inside Power BI, it is live data.
And what you're also doing is you're going through the different reports in that system. Every 15 seconds, we're getting a new screenshot of a different report, correct?
Are you saying? Sorry, go ahead.
You set that up, right? Where there's ultimately a new report. You set it, I think, to a 15-second interval. Every 15 seconds, a different report shows up, and that's what we're seeing on the screen right now.
Correct. Yeah. So it's one report with 3 different pages, and so we're seeing it go through and iterate through those pages every 15 seconds. It's still live data. Each one of them is live and being rendered in that embedded, in that Power BI embedded logic. But yeah, it's going through each page for the report.
Got it. Wonderful. Now, these are reports. Obviously, we can also bring in dashboards, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Right. So Power BI dashboards work identical. You just have a different selection because, of course, you wouldn't select the report, you select the dashboard, but every other part of the process is identical.
Got it. Well, this is great. I appreciate you showing us how we connect. Pretty simple process, right, for a secure retrieval of these reports. And then we can obviously do this with dashboards. Once we have this information built, this channel, what can we do with it?
So once we have this channel, we can set this content to go onto really any screen. That's our mission, right? Is to say you want to put it on your desktop. It's fine. Put it on your desktop. Open up a tab. You can preview it like you have here, or we have a web URL. We can just put it in those URLs. Open that up in another tab. Embed that URL in some kind of intranet portal, or you can embed it in Microsoft Teams. Anywhere you can put an iframe or a URL. You can put on a physical device with like a TV, right? With a Fire Stick or Google Chromecast, anything that has access to the Google Play Store or the Amazon Fire Store. We have apps on those. And even on, if to further go with your desktop, we have desktop apps as well. You can plug in your desktop to a TV using an HDMI cable and just have the app on full screen on that monitor, right? So really, anywhere you can imagine, you can put this up there and start broadcasting it.
And because I think in RocketScreens, and we didn't show it in this presentation, but we can blend the Microsoft Power BI reports with other data sources, other reporting tools, other communication elements in your organization to present it to departments, ultimately allowing them to simplify the reviews, the daily exercise of reviewing what matters and getting the full picture without having really to log into anything and watching it, in this case, as a playlist, where just almost like a live video feed being pushed down for management, and simplifying the memory of where do I go, how do I log in, and speeding up the whole process.
Yep, that's exactly right. And doing data mashups is an extremely complex process, marrying data from Salesforce, from your operational data, from HR, from your systems, and putting those all together and having them in one cohesive data warehouse to report off of, enormously complex and time consuming. And so the data mashups, while they are extremely valuable, the way that we're choosing to do it, taking these dashboards from different systems, serves generally the same purpose. Take the data and in these different contexts and bring them together so you can look at what you need to all in the same place.
Now, what if I would like to ultimately go to this report? Is there a way that you can tell me where to go so that I maybe could ask questions, slice and dice, if you will, this information?
Yep, absolutely. So when we went to go set up this app, you go open it up again, go through the settings. We didn't select an option, but we have an option on most of our apps where we can show a QR link. And so what that'll do is show a QR code at the bottom right-hand corner of our of the screen. And so anything that we show, we also can show that QR code so someone can scan it with their phone and be taken there on their phone, or they can click it if it's a web device, if it's embedded in Teams, they can click that QR code and it'll also open up a new tab taking them to that report. In the case of Power BI, it'll take them directly to the report. They'll be asked to log in, but it'll take them directly there.
So what we've done is we're not getting rid of the product or the application. We're just dating the information in front of the user. But at any time they want to drag in or drill into the information, they can go right back to the application.
Yep, absolutely right. Just like you said, we're baiting them back to the application through whatever means that we get these reports in front of them.
Well, great. Great. Can you kind of close out this presentation with a couple answers for me? So the market itself, we're seeing the need, right, with the, disparate communities and companies now, multiple offices, hybrid scenarios where some folks are working from home. So is some of that's driving this need of getting this information that's already been put together out to the masses no matter where they're at? Is that what we're hearing from our market?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a really interesting and unique offering too that we'll get into here soon, very soon on the podcast called Streams, where we can take people who are working remotely. Obviously, they don't have a TV that's broadcasting corporate content in their home. They maybe have access to Teams, but anyways, we have a offering called Streams, which they would install on their desktop, and it would be pulling this content straight to them. And so they would, you could schedule notifications to go out saying, hey, this channel has new data for it, or these apps have new data, and then go view them on their desktop.
Outstanding. Well, this has been interesting to see the connection. I know you've been talking a lot about it. It's unique in the market. I know the way we're going after security matters. It's critical, obviously, for our clients. And so I appreciate you showing us today, Nick, this method.
Yeah, absolutely. Very happy to show it off.
Kay, I appreciate your time today.
Yep. Thank you again for inviting me.
Yes, until next time, have a
Mhm.
great day.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
You too. Thanks, guys. Bye.